Hello, my name is Cara. Patrick, it is April 19th, 2023. I am here with the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program with
Julia Kraus.
This interview is a part of the Tidewater Main Street Project. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Arnetta Elizabeth Banks Kidd.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you, Arnetta. Let's just start off. Will you tell me a little bit about when and where you were born?
I was born in Topping, Virginia, and at an early age, my family moved up to Harmony Village, which is a few miles from Topping, and that's where I grew up.
Okay. Why did you?
In Middlesex County.
Cool. Why did you make that move?
Well, they purchased some land, so we moved to Harmony Village.
Okay, sounds good. What year were you born?
1937,
Nice.
January 24th.
Nice. So you just had a birthday then. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, thank you.
What were your parents' names and occupations?
My father's name was Oscar Henry Banks, and he was a waterman. My mom, Mary Elizabeth Robinson Banks, was a homemaker.
Are you able to tell me a little bit more about what he did as a waterman?
Oystered.
Okay, cool.
He did. And later years, he worked on a commercial fishing boat.
Nice. Did you have any siblings, and how many siblings did you have, or do you have?
I had 5 siblings, but the older 2 were just about grown at the time when I came along and so forth. So I have 2 younger sisters that grew up with me.
Okay, understood. When did you attend St. Clair Walker High School, and for what grades?
From 8th grade through 12th. I graduated in June of 1954.
Okay. And were your younger sisters, were they close enough in age that they would have been there at the same time?
No, they were about 4 years apart, really, I guess, because my sister Shirley graduated in '68, and the youngest girl, Ruth, graduated in, when did Ruth graduate? Let me see. I think I have that down here. No, Shirley graduated in '58, and Ruth graduated in '62.
Okay. Okay. What are your earliest memories of St. Clair Walker?
Going there, with it being a high school, going to spelling bees. All of the elementary schools would meet for spelling bee. May Day, all of the elementary schools met to participate in the May Day and competition. Wrapping the maypole, you know, teachers, we practiced and practiced for quite a while to learn how to wrap that maypole.
What elementary school did you go to?
Syringa.
Okay.
It's down, well, below Topping, but not too far, because sometimes when I'd miss the bus, then I had to walk, so it wasn't that far.
Yeah. Did you all ever win the maypole wrapping?
Oh, yes, we won one year. Yes, we did.
What was that like?
Oh, it's such great joy, you know? It was just joy, and so beautiful when you finish it and it's wrapped neat and tight, you know. It's, just bring back such good memories. good memories. Queen's contest, of course, the Queen's contest was mostly with seniors. And they dress in their gowns, and that was something for us to see because we were young. But and the one that brought in the most money was crowned as queen, and it was just enjoyable, very, very enjoyable. Something to look forward to when we got older, to go to the high school ourselves,
Yeah.
So, and we knew the teachers, no strangers. They grew up, well, they taught here in the county and went to church with them and so forth. So, it was all one big family.
Nice. So these May Day celebrations, did parents come too?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and big crowd. All over the county. It was a county affair.
Was there food along with the activities?
Yes, indeed.
What was that like?
Plenty food, hot dogs, ice cream, hamburgers.
Nice. Sounds delicious.
It was just so much fun. It was usually held in May. Weather was mostly nice. The Lord smiled on us. And it's just a day to remember. And when that was over, you're just looking forward to the next one, It was just a joy to be there and participate. And each school, not all, but most of the schools had a float. And that was judged. Like I say, mostly competition, but friendly competition. And Serenga we didn't really participate in that many floats, but we worked on that maypole.
You had that one down.
Yes, indeed, we worked on the maypole.
Nice.
But,
are there any other big community events like that from your childhood that stand out?
Graduations. Always attended graduation because it was always somebody we knew or a relative or somebody that was graduating. And that was a big event. Although when we started out as a fairly good-sized class, but when we finished, we only had about 14, 15 graduates in our class.
Do a lot of them still live in the area, or is everyone kind of spread out?
Two, we have Evelyn Sutherland, lives down at Locust Hill. It's only 4 of us left now. Lucy Whiting Gresham lives in New Jersey, and Louise Beverly Boatwright lives in New Jersey.
Okay.
So it's just the 4 of us.
Okay. And did graduation happen at the schools? Or? Okay.
It happened at St. Clair Walker.
Okay.
Because by that time, I think we were the second graduating class to graduate in the new gymnasium. We had been hoping that we'd be the first, but class of 53 beat us to it. But anyway, we were the second class to graduate.
Nice. Was there any memorable speakers, or did the principal speak?
The principal and the guidance counselor. Don't think we had, well, sometimes some classes had guest speakers to come in, but we didn't because the class was small and we had to. The expenses were on us. Our class was small and we couldn't afford a yearbook. Mm-hmm. I look back on that now and it bothers me a little, but we just couldn't afford one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for the yearbook then, was that like everyone in the class would pitch in for that sort of thing, or how did that work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And have fundraisers and so forth to raise money, because maybe I don't know how much it cost back at that time, but whatever, it was expensive to us.
Yeah.
And with 14, 15 children, and we just couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What were classes like with a class size of only 14 or 15?
No, sometimes we had upper class in class with us. In math class, Mr. John Henry St. Clair Walker taught us math. He's the fellow the school is named for. And we had upper class. So the classroom was full, but it was 2 classes at a time. Now, science class, let's see, Miss Catherine Frazier taught science. That was mostly our class, which was small. And Mrs. Easter Duster Holmes taught us history, which was small. And Mrs. Kathleen Cameron taught us English. I regret that I didn't take French, but Lord knows best, I got through the English.
What were some of your favorite or least favorite classes then?
My favorite class was business math, which included typing and bookkeeping. Mm. That was taught by Mr. James Madison. I loved it. I've always liked to work with numbers.
Did you do something with numbers in your occupation?
I worked in the school system for 47 years.
Oh, wow.
As a school secretary. Mm-hmm.
What year did you retire?
2012.
Nice.
Yeah. And I can remember my son Arthur Jr. telling me one day, he said, "Mama, you've been on the job for a long time." He said, "But it's not a job when you enjoy what you do." And that's what I did. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of your favorite parts of it?
Well, like I said, commitment, Lord have mercy. The children, I love children. And then there were the children that were sent to the office often. And try to talk to them to improve their behavior. But as middle school children, because I was at the high school for 3 years, and then it was changed to St. Clair Walker Middle School. And we moved down the road here to Locust Hill, where the school is now. They're at that age where I guess the hormones come sinking in, and they think they know and don't know, and you think they're listening and they're not. So, but it was just a few that you had a problem with. Most of them seem to have enjoyed just being children.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoy, just seeing them be a child. Enjoy school, getting good grades, and participating in the different room activities and so forth. But I loved that bookwork. I loved it, loved it. Took me a little while to sort of to move into technology, and everything was put on the computer. But it made things much easier. I fell into it and enjoyed that, but mostly through the years it was done with paper and pen.
Yeah.
I had an auditor to come in at the end of June, maybe 1st of July, to check the books, and so forth. But I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned a second ago that your son, do you have other kids? Or
Two daughters. Yeah, I have two daughters. Well, Sabrina retired from Orange County, I'll say maybe about a year and a half ago. And she's my youngest. My oldest daughter, Sharon, is a teacher at Gloucester High School.
Okay.
Junior was working in Richmond in the, I don't know what you call it, school for troubled children, I guess. But anyway, he retired from that. But he always told me, he said, when you enjoy what you're doing, it's not a job.
Yeah.
And God blessed me to have, through those 47 years, good principles.
Yeah.
Good principles. And I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed my days at St. Clair Walker. I sit sometime now and think back on my classmates, and we used to go outside during recess, some playing horseshoes, some playing softball, and it was just an enjoyable time. And sometimes we go back into Mr. Walker's class because he was sort of a historian. He could tell you who was related to whom. And we'd go, after we'd been outside a while, we'd go in and ask him if we could come in. And he'd sit down and tell us about relatives and so forth. It was just that was our family away from home. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And my sisters and I used to talk about the compassion that and concern that the teachers had for the children. And they tell you, now I'll see your mom, I'll see your dad at church Sunday. So that was for you if you had in mind doing something you shouldn't, straighten up. But it was, I thank God for those years. I really do.
How did conversations about St. Clair Walker High School go down at home? Like when you would come home for the day?
We had a good time. Because like I say, everybody, my mom, dad knew the teachers and so forth, so they'd, ask about our day, and it was just enjoyable. We just thoroughly enjoyed it. Yes, indeed.
Are there any other teachers that stick out to you that it really impacted your time at St. Clair Walker?
Mrs. Dolores Tuppence taught us PE and modern dance.
Oh.
I like that. We each had to cut off a handle of an old broom and bring that in, and we did our modern dance with that. That was something new to us, but we enjoyed it. And Mrs. Irene Jones was our home economics teacher. And she taught us, she had us cooking, sewing, things you do in your home, you know. And when the boys' basketball team would go off to play, she'd have the class cook them a dinner before they left. Mm-hmm. So we all got to enjoy that and send them off, and most times they won. They had a good team, good basketball team. But I think they were most of my teachers that I had class under.
What kind of other extracurriculars were there along with basketball?
Baseball. In competition, you know, with other schools and so forth. We didn't, except for May Day, we didn't have competition that much in softball from one school to another, but we did have, you know, we enjoyed softball. We played one class against the other and so forth. But that was mostly it: baseball, softball, basketball. They were the main three.
What do you remember any like big regional or national news events while you were in school, and how those were kind of discussed?
No, not really.
Okay.
You know, when you're a young child, you hear and you don't hear, you know, just, but nothing in particular stood out.
Yeah. What do you consider some of your biggest accomplishments in or out of school?
Well, I think being blessed to grow up in a home that taught me good values. Our church connection. Like I say, knowing the teachers and feeling that they were our second family. And it led me to want to be a positive person as I got older. I didn't have the opportunity to go to college. I attended a few courses from William and Mary and took a course or two over at Glenn's. But it instilled in me that I wanted my children to do better. So even though my husband was captain of a fishing boat, he carried fishing parties. So forth, we were able to send the children to school and get them prepared, you know, to be worthwhile adults. But I don't know, it just taking that business class and loving those numbers, when the opportunity came for a secretary at St. Clair Walker High School, I went up for the interview. Well, I knew I could do the work, but I had no dream that I would get it, you know. But I did. I did. And like I said, I just stayed for 47 years. Numbers, numbers and all. Yes, indeed. Typing.
Do you remember what year you started?
I think it was January of 1966.
Okay. Cool. So when news of integration came, what memories do you have of that?
Well, the children moved to the high school. That made St. Clair a middle school. It was different. And overall, it was a smooth movement, you know, but it was an adjustment. Everybody had to make an adjustment. But we more or less, like I said, it was rather smooth. And my principal retired. So that's when Mr. John Whitley, I think, came in. But like I say, I've always had good principals. Always got along with them. I thank the Lord for that. But my children, Junior went through the middle school. Sharon make comments sometime now that she wish she had gone to St. Clair, but she left Rappahannock Central Elementary and went to the high school. But it was a rather smooth transition.
Nice. How do you think your experiences at St. Clair Walker, going to high school there and then working there afterward, affected your life socially?
Well, met folks that I wouldn't ordinarily would have met. Some visiting the school, and at times, well, we didn't do that much visiting around to other schools, but through programs that we had at the school, bringing in other people and so forth, and it gets you used to dealing with public.
Yeah.
That was the main thing, just dealing with the public.
Yeah. I'm going to pass the mic to Julia now to talk about Cook's Corner a little bit, if that's okay.
Well, I don't know that Cook's Corner.
Well, even if it's not from personal experience, just like anything you like heard like through other people is also good information.
Oh, I went to Cook's Corner.
Oh, you went to Cook's Corner.
Certainly did. Mostly every weekend.
Every weekend.
Yeah, love to dance. Love to dance. Used to go to Mr. Len Davis' place. Then we'd walk up to Ms. Martha Wake's place. She had, I don't know what you'd call them. You could dance, and then she had a few booths where they served food. Well, Mr. Davis did too, you know. You could eat and dance. You know, and Mr. Holland and Francis Jackson they had a jukebox. And sometimes he'd just walk over there and just sit and listen, eat ice cream. And I think he had a small black and white TV. And we'd maybe look at TV a little while. Didn't do a lot of dancing or anything in his place. Just mostly, like I say, just sit and look at TV, eat ice cream, and then just, I guess you'd call it, culminate the night with going to Herman Wake's. Yeah, that's where had the big dance. The band from Newport News, Jammin' Jammers. But I enjoyed it. We behaved ourselves. It's a nice time. It was a nice time.
Do you remember what kind of dances you did?
Lord, I don't know. I don't even know what we called it. We just danced. I don't know. It's just, I really, to tell the truth, never thought on what it was called. Well, the slow dancing, you know, but the other, I don't know what you call it. We just enjoyed it.
Do you remember Mr. Butler Harris's outdoor movie?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Or the baseball field?
No, I remember baseball field being up in that Cook's Corner area. It was back behind where CarQuest and that other store, the automotive store. It was back behind, in that field behind those stores. But the Tidewater Tides, I think, played there, and I think that was the name of our Middlesex team. But I don't know whether Mr. Harris was connected to that or not, but I don't remember the baseball field that he had. And I don't remember the outdoor movie. Because, I don't know, before I was old enough to go out, we just didn't go up in that area that much. You know, so you stayed in your community. So I don't, those things, the movie and his feel and so forth, that was a little bit before my time.
How did the businesses change over time?
Well, the folks passed on and no young folks to take it over. So they just gradually closed.
And, do you know, about when they started closing?
No, I don't exactly know.
What are your earliest memories of Cook's Corner?
I don't know. Well, before I started going up on the weekends and so forth to dance and so forth, we'd just drive through that area going to Urbana or maybe on our way to West Point. We'd go through and look at the stores, the places and so forth, but that was my younger knowledge of Cook's Corner, but I can't say I grew up, in that area.
When you went to the ice cream parlor and stuff, when was that? Like, was that when you were working at the school? Oh, that was in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in high school.
And then, what do you remember about other Cook's Corner establishments? Like, are there any, like, businesses you remember that we've missed?
No. They were the main four, as I know of. Like I said, Mr. Len Davis Place and Ms. Martha Wake, Ms. Francis and Harlan Jackson, and then up to Herman Weeks. They're the main four that I can remember.
Do you have any, I'm just curious, like, do you have any, like, favorite stories from when you were in high school and you'd go?
Not really. Not really. Like I say, I just loved to dance or whatever. I don't know what kind it was, but just being young, I guess, and enjoyed the music.
That's great. Unless, do you have any questions?
This is Cara again. Just, is there anything else you want to share about your time living here, going to school here?
I was born, like I say, and raised here in Middlesex. I did go away for maybe a year or so because my son was born in Philadelphia. But we returned to Middlesex, and this is where I've been since.
Nice.
I've enjoyed it. I've had a good life, and a big part of it was my childhood at St. Clair Walker.
Out of curiosity, like, did your family, like, was your family from here originally?
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. My mom and dad.
Like,
We have roots right here in Middlesex.
can you, like, have you ever traced it back at all?
Well, my granddaughter, Cara, she loves the ancestry and all that. Mm-hmm. She has done quite a bit of, but we still got to go back on my daddy's side. I knew my grandfather, my great-grandmother on my father's side. I knew my grandmother on my mother's side. My grandpop died before I was born on my mother's side. But they're mostly, my grandmother on my mother's side was born and raised in Gloucester. But others were Middlesex. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have for you today, if there's not anything else you want to share.
Not as I can think of.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for all of your great responses. It was so nice speaking to you.
Thank you all for coming and doing such a good job.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. It's nice to put these things on the record. Our minds, we thank God we still got some, but we don't remember like we used to. So it's good to have it, and I appreciate the work that you all are doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being patient with us. We're both students,
no
so
problem. You
we're
did. Good job. Good
Thank
job.
you. All right. Well, then this concludes our interview.
Thank you.